Hi, this is Stacia, and hey, it's been a while since I've posted a video, so I thought I would show one of the recent tournament games I have played. I've played several, I just haven't possibly, as a consequence, haven't had time to post analysis too much. So this game's interesting, though. This game is actually Chase walk up versus me at the Parma Open, and it says G30. That's actually a lie. It was a G45 game, and well, pretty interesting game that I have not really analyzed. So we're gonna do that together. So I'm gonna show you the game, but I may stop at some critical moments and we'll analyze it. But let's go ahead and get started. So my opponent started with the move D4. I went D5, of course, and he went knight to C3. Okay, I mean, I was slightly confused here already because I'm like, what? Why? You just blocked your C pawn? Like, what are you doing? Because, like, you know, the main moves you expect are like, I don't know, E3, the Kali system, definitely knight F3. But knight C3 is kind of showing his hand because to me, this means he wants to go bishop f4 and play a Jabava-London system. Now, in the game, I went knight to f6, which I think is fine. And then, sure enough, bishop f4 comes. Now, the idea, well, part of the idea, is that white wants to bring the knight to b5 and just fork us right here. I mean, pretty simple idea. So my student Jessica will be happy. She loves that fork. So I played c6 to stop that, but I actually thought, I know there's lines where you don't need to do this, like, okay, let's just say, for example, I go c5 and they play here. I mean, we have queen f5 check, right? Like, can I do this? Now, if they don't want to lose the knight, they kind of have to go back, I thought. And then, okay, they're pinned, and if they go here, they're moving their bishop again, which means we can move our queen again. And then their bishop's on a worse square, and our queen's on a better square. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But I didn't even go for this. I mean, we could even take here, play like this. I was analyzing this earlier. I'm seeing it now. Okay, this looks really good for black to me, so I'm going to turn on the engine and see. Wow, yeah, it's like winning for black. So that's a pretty nice line. So I guess I can play c5 here. And if I ask the database, I mean, the database likes e6. Yeah, I have a repertoire with this move, e6. And if my coach Jim Antolin is watching, yeah, I don't know. I just don't like this move. I just don't like it. I try playing it in blitz games and everything, and I just don't like it. So I don't think I can play like this. All right, so I just went c6, which is basically a very safe move. I'm just like, yeah, you're not going knight b5. Like, it's not happening. So, but honestly, I also think that I could play bishop f5. Let me just see this for a second, because I thought if they go here, okay. Oh, wait, no, this is a problem. I haven't played e6 yet. Okay. Yeah, no, that is a problem, I think. I'll see what the engine says. Engine says no, because we go knight a6. Okay, but I couldn't do the one I wanted. What I wanted to do was check here and defend it like that. But I don't have time for that, so we have to go knight a6. Okay. I mean, this is totally fine, but I would rather kind of look at some lines before I play like this to figure out how we're going to deal with the knight being here. Seems to me we're going to go c6, kick that knight, then bring the knight to c7, maybe even go knight b4, and, you know, a little tit for tat there, right? So, all right, anyway, let's get back to the game. So after c6, my opponent then played e3. Yeah, so he's got to just play normal now, I guess. Now, I play bishop f5, and I definitely expected the move f3. I mean, I feel like 9 times out of 10, if someone's a Jabava-London player, they go for this f3, g4 idea, and if I come here, they even play h4, you know, threatening h5. And we have to decide, if we want our pawn on h5 or h6. I can tell you that I've had games where I've actually gone h5, and that's what I was intending in this game. It's a little bit of a sideline, like it's not a popular move at all, but it's engine approved, like it's an okay move. You can play like this. Let me see what the engine says. Yeah, it says like plus 0.1. So that's a microscopic advantage for white, or at least that's what Kevin Blocker would say. But okay, I've had masters tell me, I don't like this move. I don't like this move. Yeah, but I've kind of learned to play with this. And I just like the fact that it stops their main idea. Like, you want to go g4 now? Like, you can't, right? And if they go h3, I can go here. Now, you still can't go g4. So, like, it just stops their main plan. And then they will have to navigate the position just like me. So that's why I like it. But anyway, after bishop to f5 and knight f3, I was like, well, they're not going f3, so this is just a comfy position now, is what I thought. So I just went ahead and played h6. This is a move I want to get in if I can, because, okay, if I go e6, they can go here, and they can take my bishop, right? I don't think I can save this bishop. I mean, I could try this move, but, I mean, now I'm inviting this same thing, right? So why am I doing this? They could either take, or they could, yeah, they probably would take. I'll see what the engine says about it. Yeah, it likes that, or it likes just playing other moves and waiting. Holding the bishop hostage, that's what that's called. Because they'll take when they feel like it. I can't exactly move the bishop anywhere good. And if I try to save the bishop, like if I try to go h6 or something, then it really wrecks my structure. You do not want to isolate your e6 pawn like this. It's just a bad idea in most cases. So, all right, so h6, and I'm planning to retreat the bishop if they attack, and they went bishop to d3, and I'm like, okay, that's probably the right move actually, because now that I can retreat the bishop, they challenge me. Now I don't have bishop g6 opening up my rook if they take, so now I take, which is probably fine. Wow, I see that computer actually doesn't love this move. It thought I should go e6. Okay, I'm turning the computer off. That's very interesting. I mean, I call this the Rubinstein pawn structure. I don't know if that's the real name for it, but I do see that we have a tempo with g5, and that we can play bishop g7 and protect all the dark squares still, and then probably just castle. Is that what the computer wants? Let's just see. Computer says like castle, knight bd7, h3, and then what? Yeah, it does give g5. Okay, I would assume this. And it gives, wow, rook g8 it gives. I don't think I would even consider that. Maybe I would actually. We can castle queenside. Wow. Okay, we're obviously committing to that when we play the move rook g8, and we're threatening g4. This is pretty interesting, actually. I mean, I feel like white has a good hold on this square. Wow, interesting. Okay, anyway, that is what the computer wants. I just learned something new. I hope you did too. So that's the idea behind e6. But I just took, which is more normal to me, but probably white does have an advantage here. I think the downside of my move, now that I think about it, I knew this during the game, is that, you know, their position's a little weird because the knight's blocking the c-pawn. But when I trade like this, I just brought the c-pawn to the center. So I upgraded their pawn, and now their knight's better placed. But I was kind of thinking the knight will have to move anyway. It has nowhere to go. You know, there's nowhere to go. I guess maybe a4, but I kind of doubt it, because I can go e6. Okay, so they went queen b3. That attacked my pawn. Now, sometimes I sack pawns in these kind of situations, but I don't know, this doesn't seem right here. This pawn's loose. Like, just imagine queen takes, and then they could possibly take there. If, I mean, I know my knight's protecting, but I want to move this knight. I don't want it to stay on b8. So, and if I go here, they do take. Whoops. So I'm just thinking like, okay, if I just play like a move like this, for example, and they take, and then play here. Yeah, then my queen's on d6. I can't even go here because they win the rook or check. I was definitely seeing stuff like this, which explains why I went queen b6. I didn't really love making this move, but it's a move. I mean, it's probably the top engine move. I'll ask to find out. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it's weird, but I find that when I calculate a little bit, my moves become more and more accurate. Imagine that. And yeah, actually, there's a critical part of the game, and I calculated something, so we'll get to that, and hopefully it was right. I have no clue yet, but we'll find out. All right, queen b6, and they castle. All right, avoid the hassle, always castle. All right, so now just bishop b7. I mean, this does not bother me. If they want to take and open up my rook and get my pawn towards the center, I'm totally good with that. I'll probably go c5 even. But they went knight a4, attack my queen. So I thought here, it's time to trade queens. So takes, and knight bd7. I need to finish my development. I mean, I wish my students thought like this more. Like, when your opponent castles and their rooks are connected and your king is 2 moves away from castling, you should start to panic. You really should. You should be like, dude, I've got to get my king safe. Like, this is not good. Yeah, because white is going to get to do whatever they want and maybe even like find some forcing continuations where our king never castles. How do I know that? Because I love playing white in those positions. All right, and I get some miniatures out of it. So I'm thinking I've got to castle. So bishop b7. He went knight a4, checks the queen. I take. And yeah, this is kind of forcing, right? They have to take, then I can develop. Now, the reason I didn't castle is because I actually thought, okay, once I castle, they can actually... they know where I am. They know where I live, right? They know where my king lives, and they can play accordingly. I was half considering going queenside. Actually, no, I wasn't. I don't think I actually was. I mean, open A file? No, I definitely wasn't. I think simply here, I think I wanted to go... Gosh, I have no idea why I played this move. I would think I would normally castle here. I'm going to ask what the engine wants. Engine doesn't like castles. Oh. Oh, I remember this now. I did see this during the game. If castles, they can play knight b6, right? Because if we take, our rook is hanging. See what happens when you don't develop and your rooks aren't connected? Then all these tricks come into play, and they're good for white. So, you know what? I actually did see that, which is good. I just totally forgot about it. And after knight to e5, I now was able to play knight h5, which I kind of liked. I like taking this bishop if I can. I mean, that's a pretty good piece. And, I mean, I even want to trade the bishop with my bishop. But if I can take it with my knight and keep my bishop, notice how all my pawns are on light squares. That's going to be a bit of a positional advantage for black. So I thought this move was quite good. Engine says top move, and black is -1, if you can believe that. Okay, so yay, every once in a while I find a good move. Okay, so after knight h5, I did calculate knight takes d7, which he did play. And I have to tell you, this is where I start to not be objective sometimes. Because I was thinking during this game, I did not know my opponent's rating, but I thought it might be a little lower than me. And I'm like, this guy's just going to like play boring, trade everything off, and get a draw. And if he's like 1400 or something, You know, I'm 1800. I can't like let him do that, right? Like, so I'm like, well, what if I mix this up a bit, make him calculate? Now I'm going to try to outcalculate him. And I want the position to just get messy in general. Maybe even, I don't know. I just want my superior rating to show, but it won't in a boring game. I've got to make it crazy. But I have to tell you that I think this is the wrong decision because, I mean, probably here, I should just take this knight. I decided to throw in this intermezzo, which is, I mean, it is interesting. You got to give me that. And I was calculating a lot of stuff here because I thought, you know, if he takes me and I take him, I like how he has like all these weird double pawns. Like I have something to work with here. I don't need to castle really because the queens are off the board. I honestly want to open the c file, bring the rooks here, and look at my king. My king's actually helping with everything. So I thought I was definitely ready to go into this. I also thought this might be a move. Like we just tack this immediately. There's another pawn behind it. Like this seemed like a really good position. And if I ask Stockfish, it says black's winning. Wow. Okay, I would not think I was winning, but I guess I'm winning. It says -4. That's insane. Okay, so he obviously cannot, he cannot simply play pawn takes knight, right? Then I was calculating some more stuff. Because I was like, okay, if he saves his knight, that's all well and good. But at the very least, I could just retreat my knight. Or I could play other things. I definitely thought about playing check. And then I saw my knight getting trapped. I do remember this. Like, where's my knight go after that? I don't know. So what would I do? Not clear. See what the engine says. The engine says f6 is the best move. I was thinking about knight g6, but this is not ideal at all. But maybe I would find f6. I think I could. Because the knight can't jump in here. We're actually guarding it, at least for now. But if they do take now, I've got to take their knight, and they can undouble their pawns. This isn't quite as good as what I wanted, but at the same time, it's still not perfect for them, right? Like, it's still weird. It's still weird. This pawn should come here, though. And I would probably castle and just play and get a decent game. Computer says white's slightly better. Okay. Now I'm turning the engine back off because this is the crazy part of the game. All right, so he found what I thought was a good move. I could be wrong. I was actually worried about knight b6 a little bit too because, okay, on knight b6, if I do take, yeah, if I do take, he could take here and then take, wait a second. What was I thinking here? Yeah, I thought maybe here. Now he is threatening this, right? And if I go here, this is terrible. I just made his knight great. And my rook's hanging. But if I take, I bring their other rook in, threatening check. This does not look good. And they're also attacking the pawn. Like, and that's probably the main point. I thought this is losing. It's not. I can castle. And they can go knight takes b7. And I can go bishop f6. Oh. So I still have this. Okay, and the position's equal. That's hard for me to see all of that because there was so much to calculate in this position. But yeah, he actually went knight to c5 in the game. Now, I remember the computer does like knight ab6. Oh, it likes knight ab6. Wow, look at that move. Like, what on earth is this? It's just so weird. It temporarily protects the knight, though. We can't take it with a king. And if we take, they win our rook. I mean, that's just disgusting, isn't it? And now if we take their knight, they win our rook in the corner. And I guess we can take a pawn now, but we're down too much material. We're losing. So knight AB6 is nasty. I mean, so what do we do here? What's the other point? Well, the other point is that it's just attacking a rook. So if we don't take it, they're attacking a rook. And our knight's attacked. So I would go here, I guess. I don't know what else to do. But then guess what? Now we just unprotected A7. Now they bring the rook in. Now this guy's actually here for real. And this guy's here for real. This rook's here for real. I feel like white's just winning. So pretty brilliant continuation of my stockfish. Damn you, stockfish. No, okay. So actually he played this move in the game, knight to c5, knight d to c5, which does seem logical, right? It does attack a pawn, makes some sense. If I take, he can simply take back with the knight, or he could even take with this. Although I think that would lose this pawn. So probably he has to take back with the knight, protecting the pawn. And this check doesn't really do anything because I'll be trapped. So I had to think here, and I came up with this move, b5, exclam. I think this is a good move. Let me ask Stockfish. Yay, it's a top engine move. Okay, so I actually calculated something good here. This isn't even the calculation I'm proud of. I'm proud to say, but this is a pretty good move. b5. So we are attacking this knight. They gotta do something about that, right? Now, if they just simply move the knight away, which is what they want to do, then I was thinking we take, and take here. This seems pretty nice. They can't really protect the pawn. It's very difficult. And if they protect this way, we take that pawn. So yeah, good luck. And the computer says -3. Black's doing awesome. That is what I thought. So clearly they cannot just simply move the knight, which is what they want to do. But what else can they do? Well, they could take my knight, which is what they did in the game, but then I can take their knight. So this is what I was foreseeing here. And then they went knight to a6. Okay. I was a little worried about this move. And again, I thought a while because this is a tough position. Notice that not castling did not serve me too well, right? Like, I guess on the other hand, though, if I can prove that a move like king d7 makes sense, then it does serve me well. But he's threatening a fork immediately, and it's also pretty annoying to have my a pawn wedged like this, because the knight's actually guarding b8, and that is where I wanted my rook. Like, I want my rook there. I want to take a bunch of stuff. So I did play king d7 here. I was allowing this, and I can't remember why. Why was I allowing that move? Because it doesn't look bad. I guess if this... Oh, I know why. Bishop f6. Yeah, I was still going for that move. Okay, but the problem is now they can actually take with a rook. And that actually protects this pawn. So my player, or my opponent saw my idea and did this on purpose, or maybe he didn't and just wanted to double. But either way, this is pretty nice. And yeah, I was starting to feel nervous here. I was starting to like white in this position. Computer says no problem, it's equal. Okay, really? But all right, so what do we do here? Because okay, if we're playing as black, we need a plan. I would love to go for c5, but it just feels impossible at this point. I mean, how am I ever going to get this move? Right? They've got to protect it twice. I can never go rook b8. I mean, I guess I could bring this rook over, I guess. But I thought if I do this, he just doubles. And then when he moves his knight, he'll be attacking this with check, right? And I takes, and then the next rook comes in with check, and then I have to block, and then he could take. Like, none of that seems like that is benefiting me. So I decided that c5 is a bad way to go. I can't even really prepare it, so I decided to go with this plan, g5. So Amog will be happy because he's been teaching me to go g5. And I think it's the right move here. I'll ask Stockfish if it is. Yay, it is. Okay, so I'm happy to see that. I mean, yeah, because I don't know what else to do. If I go here, computer says, yeah, exactly what I said. It says white's a little better. They go here, and I should go king d6. That's kind of hard to see. I guess not. I mean, when you calculate like this and check, you quickly see that your king needs to go somewhere else. So, okay, but g5. Takes. This is my idea. My rook is now opened up, and I have a bishop. I'm getting some counterplay now. I could also possibly double rooks. I'm not sure how I would do it, but there's some ideas. So we have a little bit of play now. And I'm going to need it because I feel like my A pawn is just super weak. They're just going to move their knight and they're just going to double their rooks and take it. So, okay, here comes the rook. I did play king d6. So I saw that I didn't want to lose the A pawn with check. And yeah, I actually was considering other moves here though. I considered the move bishop d8. I mean, here's the thing. We would love to play this and this. This would be nice. If I can get that in. Then nothing can kick away that bishop. But I thought after this, he could simply check me. And it's too late, right? I have to go, if I go king d6, he just takes. This is too late. And now my bishop's actually disconnecting the rooks. I would think white's winning here. And yes, computer says white's winning. So I was smart enough not to play bishop d8 and find king d6. And now he played h3. Now, h3 makes some sense, but I thought it was a little bit slow. I mean, I'm not sure why he's doing that, honestly. Like, he must have seen a ghost. Or maybe, yeah, he thought I was going to double. I'm not sure what, but he went h3. And so here I go f5. I mean, I've got to do something, right? I've got to do something. So I went here. And he did go knight c5, which I thought he would. So now this is being attacked. I have no way to protect that, really. But yeah, it was in this position. I was already calculating if knight c5, I had an idea. So if you want to pause your video and find the move that I played here, it's like the only good move. Go ahead and do so now. Yeah, I calculated some nice stuff here. I played the move bishop to f6. I'm quite proud of this move. The idea is that if he takes here now, which he did, I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, I guess you could check me. I would probably just go king c7. That was sort of my idea. He could come back and attack that. That is annoying. But, like, I don't know. I could come back if I want and repeat, but I could also... Actually, let me be careful. Can I do this or not? I was going to say this, but I actually think he could take now with check. So I probably do have to go king d6. Yeah, and now, okay. And now we're in the similar predicament. So, so he did do this in the game. I take, he takes, bishop takes d4. This is what I saw. That knight is now pinned. And what I loved about this is that he probably has to go either knight b7 check or maybe b4. he chose b4 in the game to protect the knight. But that loses a pawn, right? Like, yeah, and I'm not a pawn grubber in most cases. So I had to talk myself into taking, but I did because I assessed this endgame as really good for black and maybe winning. So I think he should have gone check. But then even here, I was planning king c7 because, yeah, you can see I analyzed this a while ago. Because I thought if he tries to do like a discovery... Oh, wait. Does he have knight c5, though? I kind of missed this, actually. Oh, well, if knight c5, I can go king d6. I think I did see that during the game. But if he just, like, goes somewhere random, you know, and says check, I just take the rook. So this is not easy for white. I feel like maybe this is the best they have because at least this way the rook stays super active. He could be annoying, too, and, like, threaten to draw. Oh, I was going to go here. I remember this during the game. I did calculate this. This looks pretty good to me. Now, he could get a pawn, but I get the rook, and then he gets the bishop, right? And I thought, this is good for me. Let's see what the engine says. Engine says a little good for black. Wow, I thought this is like probably borderline winning. I guess it's not because they're going to go here, and I have to block the b file to protect. Or maybe push. But if I push, I give up this pawn. Oh, yeah, so this is not as good as I thought. Okay, it's still good, but it's not necessarily winning. White has a lot of pawns here. Too many pawns. So, okay, anyway, he played b4 in the game. So we go into this endgame. And he goes king f1. Engine's off. Okay, I'm going to attack the pawn now. I thought here he should play rook g7 because, I don't know, just intuitively, I think you've got to stay active in these endgames. You can't turtle up. He played here. That seemed like a mistake to me, but computer doesn't really think it's a mistake. Computer does like rook g7, but it likes rook a2 the best. Okay, so kudos to my opponent. Maybe he saw further, but it is -2 no matter what. So, I mean, I don't know. If you go passive like this, I feel like you'll just lose without a fight. But, you know, so I feel like the more human try is like attack. I can't even really push, right? Like this is... That pawn is far away. I still like black. Don't get me wrong. I like black here, especially when I take this. But this seems closer to a draw than what happened in the game. So after rook a2, I put the rook in here to wedge the pawn. Because, you know, now the rook has to babysit. This is the baby. I have a 5-year-old student, and we call the pawns babies. And it's kind of funny. And then when she takes one, I'm like, oh no, my baby. And then she laughs. But... I'm not sure it makes her better at chess, but it's fun. So, all right, king e2 here, king d4, f3, yeah, and here c5. Now, I saw he could check here, but I was kind of counting on this because I felt I had a really good move, which is the move c4, exclam. You cannot do anything about this now, right? And I'm threatening to take this with the rook. Like, I realize this is pinned, but I'm going to take with the rook. So he took, but then I get to throw in this intermezzo with check and then take this way. Okay, that pawn's very strong. Now, I actually blunder, though, because, you know, I like it to be exciting. Yeah, I went here, and I thought I was threatening mate, but, like I was definitely under a minute here, and I recreated this part of the game, but, yeah, g4 stops it. It stops mate. Like, okay, if I go here, I am threatening mate. After g4, he's gotten like an escape square, right? Sorry, this. So Yeah, I just like didn't even register that he did that for some reason. So I blundered my pawn, my best pawn. But I think I'm still good here. This position's very dominating. Oh, and I ran out of moves here. So I wish I could recreate the rest of the game for you. But I don't think I can. But this looks quite winning. I mean, if he goes here. Let's see. Should we take or just push? What should we do? Or should we move the rook? I'll ask the computer. Computer does like checking. I mean, it does force the king to the back row. Because if they go here, that is going to be almost mate. They would have to, like, sack their rook, so that's not good. So they're going to have to go back. But then we win this pawn. So yeah, what do they do then? Yeah, we just won the pawn. I actually think this did happen in the game. But I'm not sure because it all happened really fast. But I went on to win this endgame. It was not that easy, actually. We ended up with, like, I had a pawn here, and, like, this pawn gets here or something. And he had a pawn here. And it just seems winning. I'm sure it was. But he did put up some resistance. And, but the game was a win. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the overall, but I felt like I might be way worse. And I'll show you where I thought that. Like the opening, I'm not that happy with myself. I feel like I played a little passively. Like c6 is not how I want to play. I want to play c5 is what I want to do. And I could do this, right? Like I could do this. I could go check here, go into this. This is how I want to play the position. I mean, White could play better than that, but still, that it seems likely we might get something like that. It would be a little more challenging. I want to pose problems for my opponent. I don't want to make it easy in most cases. So, all right, and then here, okay, I did not see the move e6. I mean, what a brilliant idea to go for this. With rook g8. We're going to castle queenside, I guess. Like, wow. That was pretty cool by Stockfish. All right, but in the game, I just kind of played, like, kind of passively almost. But I did double their pawns. Okay, and then finally I played an interesting move. Now, unfortunately for me, this actually loses because of this brilliant move, knight a to b6. And, okay, actually... Oops. Yeah, if we take, they take the rook. This is the main point. So we actually can't take it. And if we take their pawn, I don't know. This doesn't seem right. If we move the rook, they take now. So this is what I was worried about. That's like winning for White. It's very good for White. So I'm lucky that my opponent didn't find that. And I certainly didn't see it either. I mean, I looked at knight b6 and I did not see that. I might have looked at this knight to b6 though, maybe not that one. So, but b5 exclam, that's a good move. But he does get this annoying queenside play. Yeah, and rook takes a4. I just kind of missed. I overlooked this move. I mean, if he goes here, I think we're sitting pretty. We go bishop f6. We're gonna get this pawn, and then we're good. You know, we're fine here. But the way the game went, I had to push my king side, which felt weird to me, but I thought it was probably correct. And then I had to calculate this move, this bishop f6 move. Because here, if I don't play bishop f6, I'm just lost. I mean, like, what else do we do? I was considering doing something like this, just to make sure they don't take with check, but we're still losing a pawn. The computer says this is a draw, but only if I play bishop f6 now, which I guess I would find. But still, I don't like this position. My 8th and 7th ranks are like cleared out, and that could be problematic. Oh, ooh, and I forgot to mention this checkmating idea that he had during the game. When I calculated bishop f6, I was actually worried about that. Yeah, like what if I just pass? Let's say I just pass like here or something. I thought he might go and now he's threatening checkmate. And now I need to do something. And if I have to do this, I'm not too happy about this, I don't think. Like, he could check for one. He could play rook takes. I mean, it seems like the obvious move because they win that. So, I don't know. I don't know. This seems winning for white. And if I check with the computer, it is. So, yeah, this part of the game was quite intense. And I had to calculate. And I found this bishop f6 move, which is the only move that, like, keeps this together. So he takes... And I mean, yeah, just notice that there is like a checkmate threat here, which I failed to mention earlier. I totally forgot. But I got this. So now the knight's pinned. And I win a pawn and then win the endgame. So not how I normally win a chess game, but pretty happy with it overall. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and learned something. And I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.